So welcome to the Next Stop Nonstop Podcast. My name is Erica and I'm your host. And today I have Miss Alexis with us, and she is a flight attendant. And so I'm going to have her introduce herself to you guys for just a moment, and then we're going to get right into the juicy stuff. Alexis?
Well, my name is Alexis. I've been a flight attendant for 7 years. I have known Erica for a few years, actually, through work. I'm a new mom. I actually have been off work for a little while, so I'm just stepping back into my job. But yeah, that's pretty much me.
I love it. And how's new mommy life going?
It's crazy, but it's fun. It's really nice.
Oh,
Love my baby. I have a baby girl, so
I'm so glad to hear that. And how old is she?
She's 6 months.
Oh, she's a baby. She's brand new.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, now that we know a little bit more about you, let's see if we can get into some good stuff. All right. So the first question is, did you have any expectations coming into this career? Why or why not? And if you did, what were they?
I did have expectations somewhat because my uncle, he's a flight attendant. So that's what kind of like put the idea in my head. Like I saw his lifestyle and I was like, wow, like that's really cool. Like he gets to travel all over the world. You know, he seemed to be happy. So I'm like, I want to do that. I just be free, just be able to travel everywhere. I grew up in a small town, so I wasn't really exposed to too much as a kid. We did like our little road trips and stuff like that, but you know, nothing too extravagant. So yeah, my expectations were just to kind of have like a free lifestyle.
Yes, and free it is. That's the one thing I can say about this career. It just gave me so much flexibility and just has allowed me to see so many things that I probably would have never seen outside of that.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. And what's something that actually surprised you about the career?
That it's not like people think that the job is just like a vacation.
Yes.
That even surprised me. I'm like, I mean, I knew I had to work, but
oh, you working? So some of these days you working, right?
Sometimes it really is work. Like have really long days sometimes, short layovers.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to be able to roll with whatever. Of course, with seniority, it gets better because you can start traveling where you want to travel and longer layovers if that's what you like. If you like working, then you can do that.
What do they call it? Productive.
Right.
You want to be productive? Go ahead. I'm not that. But so before I let you finish that thought, I'm sorry. Can you talk a little bit more about what you said, seniority? Can you explain that to the folks who don't know about that?
Yeah. So in the aviation industry, seniority is everything. Seniority pretty much is like how much time you've put in. So at 7 years, I have 7 years seniority, and it's actually pretty junior. People
Can you believe it?
Aviation industry stay forever. You pretty much have to like kick them out, make it because they just won't leave.
I love it. Yep, that's right though. That basically depends on what type of schedule you get, whether you're considered a reserve. You want to kind of talk about that? The difference between reserve and line holder?
With being a flight attendant, you bid. And by bidding, it's like basically how you get your schedule. So every month I just bid actually. And so
pause. Didn't we get the same schedule for next month?
Did.
I did. So we are actually, she was talking about seniority, and we are actually very similar, very close in seniority, which is why we probably ended up getting a similar schedule this month. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you look at all the what's called lines. So it's basically schedules. There's like hundreds of schedules to choose from with different trips. And so you go through all of them, you pick which ones you want, and you do like your dream bidding. So you pick what you really want first, and you just put them in order by what works for you. That's if you're holding a line. For reserve, you pretty much do the same thing, but it's not going to be like set trips. It's just going to be days that you're on working or days that you're off. Most reserve schedules are built with like 12 days off. I know some of them have like 16, and you can add work days to get down to the 12 days if you want. But yeah, so on your reserve schedule, you may or may not actually be working all of those days. You just gotta be by your phone 24/7
all day long.
Just when you think you're free.
So tell me a little bit actually more about the reserve life. Now, I personally know that she is no longer on reserve, which is a blessing, okay? But for the folks who may be just getting into it or may be interested, they're going to most likely be on reserve for some time. Can you describe what the reserve life might be like?
So reserve life definitely has its cons, but you can make it work for you.
Absolutely.
Like I said, you bid your schedule, so you'll get it's usually between like 4 and 6 days on. And with the company that I work for, you're on reserve for those days like 24/7. So it's just like rolling clock for 6 days.
They can call you at any time.
Yeah. So they might call you at 4 o'clock in the morning, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You never
could
know.
Be any.
Be prepared for anything. And you can go anywhere. You might be going to like Boise, or you could be going to like Beijing. You just never know. You have
literally.
And then there's also what's called standby. So you might get called in just to go stand by at the airport. So like if someone doesn't make it to work, or if there's there's always weather and crazy cancellations and all kinds of things.
Anything.
And so they need people that are already there at the airport, because we have a 4-hour call out. So when you're at home, then they call you. You've got 3 hours really to get
I was gonna say,
and, but you don't have enough time for that all the time. So if they have to have people at the airport that they can call and have like in 10 minutes. Oh, actually, I remember one time it was like January, and I literally just checked in for standby, and I got called for Hawaii, but it's January. So I had like sweaters and boots and all that in my suitcase. And I went to Hawaii and I had to buy clothes and a bathing suit.
Sucks.
I wasn't prepared.
Yeah. You got to literally, you have to have everything and anything when you're on reserve in your suitcase.
Always have a bathing suit. Always have shorts and a t-shirt. Always have a pair of jeans.
Absolutely. Have a little white sweater. I usually like to carry like a little, maybe a sweatshirt or something, just in case.
Exactly.
That's so funny. Okay, well, I like that, and I appreciate going into more detail for our listeners. So getting back to you, though, what is something that you've learned about yourself since taking this position?
I think I've just learned to be more flexible. I can kind of be like I'm on a strict schedule. I like to happening all the time. So I've learned to kind of roll with things a little better. Get so worked up. Like, I have no idea what's going on. Like, I'm supposed to do XYZ today. I'm still like that a little bit. Definitely made me a little more flexible, and I'm just gonna go with things.
I'm gonna just go with the flow, and that was me for sure too.
And even as far as like the workday goes, like if I misconnect, like you can't get super worked up about it. You just have to be like, you know what, it wasn't meant for me to make home today.
And literally, because I mean, I know sometimes like you just aren't ready. Like in your brain, you're already set. You're like, I got something to do tomorrow. I'm doing this. And then you just get stressed. Because I was super type A before this job, which I thought was super funny. Because anytime anything did not go as planned, I almost got like so frustrated that I could cry. And I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. And then all of a sudden something happens when you get to this job and you're like, oh, yeah, well, here we go. I'll figure it all out. Like, and you just, as things kind of unfold, because most of the time you're never going to know specifically at that moment what the new change is. You're going to have to wait a little bit, couple hours maybe. You just never know. So I can roll with it. You know what I mean? I love that.
Like a joke on the jump seat where it's like, if you make plans, that's when you know your trip's going to fall apart.
1000%. And every time it does, I'm like, who did it? Who made plans? What do we? It's 100% accurate. Okay, I love it. So what's the number one thing you hear when you tell people you're a flight attendant?
Well, normally when I tell people I'm a flight attendant, they're like, oh my gosh, so you just like get to travel everywhere? Like, oh, do you get free flights?
I feel like that's the number one thing. So what about those buddy passes though?
Buddy passes? Okay, buddy passes aren't free.
Hello.
Okay, they're not free.
Can you talk to them? Tell them about the buddy passes. Okay, for the people who are listening who always want the buddy passes, please listen for a second.
So that like you have buddy passes are not free. Actually, sometimes they might cost more than a ticket by the time all said and done, especially if you don't have a direct flight. Yeah. And we only get a certain amount. And, you know, let's say you're going somewhere that has a connection. That's 2 buddy passes.
Hello, come on now.
2. And then you got to get back. That's 4 buddy passes. So a lot of times they're more trouble than work.
Yes.
You're on standby.
Yes. Most people hate standby. They're like, I don't know I can't do this.
Yeah. Exactly. If you don't understand it, then it's just completely going to stress you out. Yep. And then you're going to get stressed out.
Yep. And you're texting me. Don't text me. I can't help you right now.
It's not a good situation.
No, it's not. Now, how does that differ from enrolled friends?
So enrolled friend is someone that can, for them, they can just, you know, fly wherever. If you haven't, your enrolled friend, which is actually what I choose. I don't even deal with the buddy pass.
Same.
Friend. So your enrolled friend actually has more freedom to, you know, go wherever they want to go. You can give them their own login to like book their own ticket.
They don't have to bug you.
So it anymore. And it's not like a pass by pass. There's no limit on how many places they can go or how many passes they can use.
That's smart. And I was going to say, I actually use the enrolled friends too, because I hate the buddy passes. So I don't even I couldn't care about those.
Yeah.
Right? That's so funny. So my next question for you. Now, I know you are married. Did I remember that correctly? Okay, perfect. So I was going to say, how does flying affect your dating life? But how does it affect your romance and your marriage? If that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was actually one of the things that drew us together in the beginning. Because you know, I like my independent time. My husband likes his independent time. So it kind of gives us a chance to miss each other, you know what I
love
mean?
that. Yeah.
And so, you know, sometimes it's kind of hard. I would honestly still to this day, sometimes if I feel like I'm gone too much, I kind of, you know, get a little anxiety, you know, wish I was home. I miss my partner.
Yeah.
What are you doing without me?
Yeah, how dare you?
No, I want to be there.
Of course. And I get that. So you have the benefit of needing a night away, getting a night away if you need it. And then sometimes when you're on these 3 or 4 days, I'm like, that's just too long for me. Exactly. It's too long. I don't, you know, and then now I think we actually have some 6-day trips too.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, no, I don't need a whole week away.
It's a balance though. It's good to miss people sometimes. You know?
Absolutely. See, my next question for you is, what keeps you flying?
What keeps me flying is the benefits are amazing. 1,000%. And now I have a family. I want my daughter to get to enjoy the benefits. I
love it.
See everything.
Yeah.
And I mean the benefits for myself too, but
of course.
Yes, of course. So I mean, I really enjoy traveling. I haven't gotten to do as much lately as probably a lot of people haven't. So
yeah.
Picking things back up. I'm really excited to be on the move again. So
I love it. Well, welcome back. Okay. We missed you. We missed you. What change would you like to see within the industry?
I would just like to see us, you know, treated better, a little more respected. I feel
that by passengers or by?
I would say by both.
Okay.
Well, passengers, especially in the past few years.
Yeah.
With COVID and everything, everybody's just stressed.
Of course, yeah.
Passengers realize what we've gone through.
And they just extended the mask mandate, so that's the whole thing.
I know. And it's I'm not telling you to wear your mask to be mean. I'm telling you because it's a federal regulation. You just have to do it, you know.
I'm doing it, right? We do it all day.
Hey, So yeah, just be kind.
I agree.
And, I mean, some passengers think, you know, oh, well, your job is just, you know, you're just opening soda cans. You're not really important. But my real job, I'm really there for the safety. And, you know, if something happens, which has happened before.
A lot of time it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to be able to, you know, step in and be a lifesaver. So
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And I think what do they call professional safety professionals? And I think I'm not sure that people really understand the depth of what we have to do. I mean, I understand, okay, what it looks like. I think someone called me an airline hostess. I'm like, okay, that's cute. Sure. Yeah. All right. But the actual real part of it. So I guess I want you to, without going into crazy detail, go through what type of training that we have.
we are trained and taught all different types of like emergency situations. You know, like we know CPR. We're trained on how to use an AED. We've got to be able to evacuate an aircraft in minutes. So those are the kinds of things that we're trained on.
Safety and security, things like that, what to look out for.
Because exactly, you actually mentioned security, which is another big thing. So, you know, it's my job to protect the cockpit. So I can't let anything happen to the pilots, because 100%. If something happens to them, then the whole plane's in trouble. So I'm the first line of defense.
And that's 100% accurate. I think people don't really understand that until something actually happens. They're like, what are we gonna do? I'm like, and the first thing they do, anytime, even turbulence, as small as that, they look at the flight attendants first.
Right.
I'm like, we are the ones, right?
Right.
So that makes sense. Alrighty, perfect. So next question for you is, what is your most favorite and your least favorite thing about being a flight attendant?
My most favorite thing is that I get to just do whatever I want on my layovers. If I want to go out and explore and have dinner and just sightsee, do whatever I want, then that's great. Or if I want to be a slam clicker, I can do and just
me. That's me. Explain what a slam clicker is for the folks.
So a slam clicker, it's like a flight attendant joke. It's someone that literally they get to their layover and you're not going to see them again. They're going to go in their room and they're going to be ordering their room service.
Yep.
Just chilling, laying on the bed.
They slam that door and they click it locked. Yep. That's it.
Slam the door and click the lock. Exactly.
That's what I do on 99% of my layovers.
I'm getting that way.
It's the problem is, I think it's so easy to do, especially nowadays. I'm like, sometimes places you can't really eat in, or you don't really want to eat in, or you don't feel comfortable, depending on, what you got going on. And sometimes I'm like, that little bed just feels so comfy after a long day, or you get a short layover like you were talking about earlier.
Right.
So it's one of those things. I think it's a lot of fun though. And I think I should probably get more out of my comfort zone and actually go and like explore. But I think when you've done it for a while, you tend to get into some habits.
Yeah.
And slam clicking is definitely one of mine.
Been somewhere a few times. You just like, I really need to step out, but fresh air is good.
Funny. So I know that you were talking about you wanted your daughter to be a part of, have enjoy the benefits. But do you ever see yourself doing another career?
Honestly, no.
No.
Yeah, no.
Explain why. I know that you were saying just the benefits and the travel. Is there anything?
I just feel like the lifestyle is just something that kind of like gets in your blood. I just can't imagine. Not that a 9-to-5 is the only other career there is, but I just can't imagine doing anything else and enjoying it the way that I enjoy the job that I have. I do have my bad days, but
of course, we all do, right?
An amazing job. Like I said, amazing benefits, amazing people that I work with. For the most part, everyone's so positive, and everyone's always going to say like, never leave.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. They always.
And they're like, don't quit.
Yep. When I first started, the first guy I met, he said, whatever you do not quit this job. He's like, take a break, take a COLA, which is a company offered leave of absence. He's like, take a COLA, take some days off, whatever you need to do. Do not leave this job. Do not quit.
Exactly.
But honestly, now give me your opinion about this. I don't know that this career or this lifestyle is actually for everybody. Like I know a lot of people like to they'll come in, they're like, oh, they're so excited, and then all of a sudden, like a year or two in, they're like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I think people who are actually like wanting to be in this job or just new, are there any like tips or tricks you can give them?
I mean, I think that for like the first couple years, especially from reserve, it can burn you out a little.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I can see where that can be the hard part, but you just kind of have to like stick it through and like still make sure that you're doing things that you enjoy in the time.
Yeah.
Living in base is also a huge thing.
Yes. Commuting is a whole nother job.
Or at any point, but especially when you're new.
Yeah.
That's like a job in itself, and it's just going to make things so much less enjoyable. You're going to be stressed out all the time, and it's like, you're using your days off to get home. It's just yeah.
It's not something I think I would ever recommend. And can you talk about a little bit more what commuting is for maybe somebody who doesn't know? I know it is basically in the name, but just kind of how that works as a flight attendant.
So like for commuting for a regular job might be you have an hour drive thing. But for our job, a lot of people fly into work, or they might have like a longer drive, like a few hours or so. Like I actually know someone that lives in Zurich and flies into DC to work. And I think that's absolutely nuts. But he does. Yeah.
He has to back all his trips up. And what I mean by back all his trips up is he would be basically working, let's say, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and seeing if he could start working again Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Right.
And like constantly until he gets however many hours he wants or needs. Yeah. And then he can go home for however long.
So a lot of people that do that will like work like 2 weeks and then they're off for 2 weeks.
Whew.
But the more common it would be like you live in Michigan or something. And
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So I agree. When I think of commuting, especially I'm based in DC, and when I think of commuting, because we have 3 airports here, my longest commute is like 3 hours, and I dread it. And I'm like, oh God, I got to do this again. Like I mentally have to prepare myself to actually do this commute. So I totally get it. Well, I definitely want to just thank you. Do you have any advice for anybody who is thinking about getting into this career? And what they should maybe do or kind of prepare for?
My advice would just be to be open. Like I know I started with be free. I like that in the middle somewhere too. So just like be open. Don't get set on like, oh, I want to be based at this place or XYZ. Just like roll with it, and you'll never, you don't even know, like it might be like a blessing in disguise. You're going to meet some amazing people. I wouldn't necessarily even get set on an airline either, because I didn't get the airline that I thought I really wanted to go to, and I actually like really, really love where I am. Yeah. So like I said, I think just being open to anything and just trying to maintain a positive attitude. I love that. That's my biggest advice.
Yeah. So okay, say that one more time. I didn't hear you.
In base.
Yes, please. That is number 1. Okay. Commuting is another job. Don't do it.
Yeah.
No, actually I was thinking for any person who is maybe a single mom or just a parent in general, do you have any specific advice for them?
My advice is don't stress yourself out, because everything's going to end up, it's going to work out. It will. It is definitely helpful to have a support system, especially if you have like family or something like that to help you. But things always fall into place. So don't think that you can't do something just because you're a parent, because you can do it, work out, and your child will thank you down, for being able to see the world and all the hard work that you put in.
I love that. Yeah, because there's tons of people that I meet, they're like, oh, I wish I would have gotten to that sooner. I have kids now. And I'm like, well, if you have a support, you might still be able to do that. I wouldn't rule it out necessarily. So I think actually hearing from a parent within the industry, I think is a huge deal. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for coming in. So if you'd like to go ahead and put out your Instagram or just tags or anything, go ahead.
So my Instagram is Lexi Sweetheart. It's Lexii Sweetheart. And so add me.
I love it. Well, thanks again for coming and visiting and talking to our listeners and our viewers. I really appreciate it. Now, if you guys want to see Alexis back, go ahead and let me know, okay? All right. Well, once again, thank you. And we'll see you guys next time on the Nonstop Podcast.